From the light I come, you'll see, like a lantern it shines in me. Welcome to Angel Bear Reports. Here at Angel Bear Reports, we love highlighting media moments when someone has the guts to stand up to the bigoted bullshit of feminism. I am delighted to bring you such a moment from one of my favorite programs, This Week in Science, coming up next.
Now, the interesting thing is that this starts splitting up along gender lines. So half of online women, 52%, are interested in health and medicine. Men are more interested in the science and technology. 43% of the men say they're interested in science and technology versus only 22% of women. And then
even think about it. Who cares about medicine? Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're just totally proving the gender stereotype. And you wonder if that is kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy that we tell kids from the age they're very young that men are supposed to be the ones who like technology and women are supposed to be the caretakers and all this kind of stuff.
No.
Do we think that we're naturally going that way because of the roles that we are told to play or the roles that we naturally play? You wonder kind of what cause and effect is there.
So here's the thing. I really, this is more belief based on anything else than anything else. Men and women are different. We think different. We're interested in different
Go get
things.
them, Justin.
I think the
Go get them.
Becomes negative when it says women can't excel at this sort of field or that sort of field. I think that stereotype is probably compounded by the fact that maybe those are male-dominated disciplines, or once were, because of general interest that leads you there. May be different, but I think there is. My daughters like to play with dolls. I got the same stuff for my son. He's not really as interested in it. What is though? My oldest son, or my son and my oldest daughter, both love playing with Legos. They like playing with and creating completely different. She makes a little village with people, and she's got the thing. And he wanted to make destructive mining.
Huzzah, Justin!
Right?
Huzzah!
They're wired, I think, in some way to be interested in different things, but they can both do Legos,
a certain
right?
way.
They can both do math to
You are
accomplish this
bound to
goal.
get some bias.
I love how Justin sits here, trying to humor them,
Yeah.
trying to be politically correct and patient with them, when he knows
As a
it's
category, that's
all
pretty broad.
bull.
I don't know.
Right. Exactly.
I don't know. I think if guys are liking the term technology as it applies to their interests more than women, I think that says something. And if it says the result is what we thought it would be going in, that also should say something.
Right. Yes. So are they really interested in those things more? Is that something that we should be looking further at? Is that something we want to change? Do we need to change that?
Why would we change it?
Why indeed, Justin? And if we are going to propose such changes, shouldn't we at least bear some mind to the ramifications of them? For generations we have been doing this across every other avenue of education, going around and trying to make them more appealing and effective for girls without paying any mind or concern to the negative effects that they have upon boys, or perhaps even celebrating the negative effects that they have upon boys. The only area that boys still excel are the areas of science and technology. Our hearts soar when our minds are engaged by thoughts of building and discovering new things or exploring new places. Our minds are wired to track objects as they move through space and impact other objects. We love science fiction, big machines, and explosions. We like great challenges and learning to overcome great obstacles. Feminism's response is to destroy that for us, to try and make everything science-related appear more feminine and less interesting to boys. I would love to say that feminists are doing this without concern for the adverse effects on boys, but the truth is that they are celebrating the adverse effects on boys and the educational results. They seem to be conscious of this and making it part of their plan. They want boys to fail and are doing their best to make it happen. A recent example is Google and Pixar taking their educational resource program Made with Code and feminizing it. They didn't make it non-genderized. They didn't make it androgynous or interesting for both boys and girls. Instead, they turned it into something boys would have no interest in whatsoever. Would be made fun of by their friends if they were even caught looking at it or using it. They don't care that doing so might prevent 10 boys from using it for every girl they encourage to do so. To feminists, one girl succeeding is worth causing 10 boys to fail.
Also, so that's also very interesting.
My whole argument is there's nothing you can do at the end, or there's not as much as you can do at the end of these adults' interest spectrum. What you need is education from the beginning.
That's exactly it. Yeah. And recognizing this now means we can adjust how we teach the future generations.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with how we're teaching. It's just I think it's, when you get to higher education, you have to put a family in debt and choose one child to be educated. I think that becomes the stumbling block for society there.
Well, there's definitely...
Blair, perhaps you could lend your voice, time, and energy to getting boys into the social sciences, where the entire fields of psychiatry, sociology, education, child protection have abdicated the use of science and instead instituted a plan of using the bigoted, politically correct propaganda of feminism instead. Perhaps more men involved in those pursuits would stop the millions of innocent men from having their children kidnapped from them by the government every year based on those bigoted feminist lies about men, parenting, and their gender. Perhaps it would stop millions of men from being arrested because women attacked them and they had the audacity to call the police for help, when science has generations of proving that men are the greatest victims of domestic violence. Science has shown that most psychiatrists, psychologists, and PSY degrees involved in child protection believe and recommend the exact opposite of what all the science says they should be, and that it's resulting in millions of extra children being abused, molested, and neglected, and tens of thousands of suicides. Blair, we beg of you to start calling out politicians who lie about domestic violence, gender issues, and child abuse and parenting, instead of just parroting the bigoted, politically correct propaganda of feminism that is leading to these atrocities. Blair, we have an international crisis, and it's destroying hundreds of millions of lives. And what you're doing on this program is trying to make it all worse. Please, come away from the darkness. We here at Angel Bear Reports and Puppets on Feminism celebrate Justin and This Week on Science for his bravery in standing up to feminist propaganda and attempts to do social engineering that have already proven to be horrifically destructive to the lives of young men.